Welcome to Thursday. I think we're live. Tonight, we have Queen, the Respecter, and myself, Mama Acid. And we're going to be talking about some stories that just won't go away. They just stayed in the news, and we're going to make sure that you understand what they're all about. We want to send love and peace to the entire world, but especially to the rest of our DA Powerhouse Radio family and to our biggest sister, Lady D.
Lady D.
So tonight, we've got some stories that I think probably everybody has heard us talking about, but we need to talk about them a little bit more. And some of them, of course, involve the Chinese. I'm just going to say it. Look, we can't help it. The Chinese have their hands in everything. Each one of us could probably name something that the Chinese got their hands in. But I would like to start with a greeting from everybody. So why don't we let the Respecter start first this week?
Welcome once again. And we do hope that everyone is having a joyful day despite of all the chaos that's going on through this world. So just tune in and, you can call in if you want to. It's available, okay? But just be as strong as you are possible can be. Courageous and strong, all right? Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. And Queen.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my sisters and my brothers. Yeah, we are manning the show tonight, so bear with us. Lady D had an emergency, so she won't be on tonight. But we're going to do the best we can, and in the order in which we discussed at our meeting. So I think Sister Asid is going to give you a rundown. She's going to greet you and also give you a rundown of some of the topics that we're going to be talking about.
Thank you,
Sister Asid.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, some of it has the Chinese in it. And a lot of it is about Jamaica. A lot of it is about things that are happening around the world. And I think that the first two stories are really challenging. And I want to thank Queen for taking the time to dig deep into this, because I just scratched the surface on it when we were talking about the problems with finance in Jamaica. And so this allows us to open up the conversation that has been bubbling in Jamaica for weeks, but now it has become a full-blown boil. People are upset about this discussion about this cash business card and not having access to their paper cash and not being able to control the economy. So, Queen, can we kick it off with you and talking about what's going on with this whole thing?
Well, there's a lot of corruption in Jamaica. Of course, we all know that. And what happened is that the case with the SSI is still going on. And Jean Panton, a couple of days ago, she, before she even decided to do that, she asked for a mattress. She asked for several items she wanted to be given to her. And from what sources says, alleged, she is talking like a parrot, going pop, 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 pop. So she's telling everybody's business. She's telling everybody's business, so everybody is being implicated. So we're looking to see a couple of people go down in the next coming weeks. What you hear about that, Darespecta? You heard anything about that one?
All I heard is that Holness, he needs to go, and the people of Jamaica needs to rise up, stand up, and be strong, and just take a moment to ourselves You say you believe in God, trust in God. But God is not going to snap his finger. The people have to stand up and pretend that them are God.
But half of this is stemming from that lady that is suing the what they're doing instead of suing really the society, she is suing Jean Canton, right? She's 80, she's in her 80s, I think 81 years old, and she is suing them, and she is determined. She have her lawyer, she have evidence, she have everything to present to the court. So I think everybody's a little nervous. I think that's what's going on,
Well, truthfully, no disrespect. That story right there is not bigger than the story of Jamaica people, especially those in the poor sectors of Jamaica who right now is trying to find something to eat. So my feeling is towards the part of the island that people are really and truly suffering because of the government. That lady's going to be fine. She's doing the right thing.
Corruption.
She's going to be fine.
Mm.
My main concern
that lady going to jail.
Yeah. I mean, but you see, she represents the corruption that is in Jamaica. And that's why you see all them people respect that you're talking about. That's why they don't have food to eat. Because people like those, they're out there robbing the poor people and blind. This woman, she was working. She worked 30 odd years in America. Put her money in there. She's ready to go home. No money. How you think that person feels? You work, you know how it is up here with the snow, working in the snow, what have you, in New York City, and put her money in the bank down there so she can retire. Now she's ready to retire. There's no money. I mean,
honestly, she didn't do her homework. She didn't listen to her mother, or father, or grandparents. Put all her eggs in one basket.
Respect her. I gotta go with Queen on this one, and I gotta say this. What about the fact that the president of the bank is the one who was talking to Jean Patton, telling her, you need to think about this before you start talking to the government, because there's a lot of us that could go down for this. I can't imagine him being a president of a bank at that level, dealing with Andrew, which is why I said corruption. I agree with you on the corruption, Queen. But I'm going to say this too, Respecter. That lady that worked all those years that was trying to go home, and they took the food out of her refrigerator. In fact, they took the whole refrigerator. That lady should be able to sue to change the way that the banking laws in Jamaica work, because I've lost a whole bunch of money in Jamaica too. And I'm not going to talk about it. What I'm going to say is that the banking laws only work if you are able to move your money around in large increments and have it turned into something that moves from island to island, because you can't leave your money in the bank in Jamaica for long.
And give tips, and being able to give a tip. You got to do that back deal now, where you hand something back there and everything is okay. And you can do whatever you want to do in Jamaica. And that's what's going on out there. And we talk about finances. That's what's going on with financing. That's what's going on with the people and being poor. All of this is going on because of the corruption in Jamaica.
Okay, so let's go ahead and throw Andrew in, because we got to throw Andrew in. What about how this is connected to this new cash thing that the Chinese are trying to encourage Andrew to bring about in Jamaica? And do you want to explain how it all works, this card?
Well, what happened is that, let me see. Yeah. There's they have an injunction, right? And let me see. Lord of mercy. I'm trying to find my notes. Go ahead and elaborate a little bit more.
It is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. No matter how much the Chinese, Canadians, Americans, they try, it's not going to happen. God is being silent, but trust me, Jamaica is going to remain Jamaica stronger than ever. And only if he's going to leave, you have a choice. People of Jamaica will come together. And those who live in abroad, they're slowly going to get back to Jamaica and help build back Jamaica. The Chinese ain't going to rule nothing. Because Jamaicans now realize that what's going on, making them look bad. Because all the so-called bad man, them only have fought for them own kind. They might realize that they must kill off each other. Why kill off each other? And each other is not the problem. So they must go wake up. Jamaica is going to rise.
Well, you see, this crypto thing, you know, everything is leading to this cryptocurrency and the card. You understand me? You see, in say another 2 years, not even far from now, another 2 years or so, everywhere will be using cards. Someone was telling me about in Miami where they have certain stores where you use the card. There is no cashier.
Right.
I mean,
Amazon, they don't want you to use. They want you to use a card because they say it prevents robbery.
Yeah, you know, and that's what. Can you imagine those poor people in Jamaica having to have a bank account and not being able to afford a bank account to get a Visa card? I'm wondering how are they going to do that? You know, with this currency, because from what they're saying, you have to have an account in order to even use it.
That is what they're trying to do, to keep black people down as much as possible. Confuse us more than we already
Okay, but Respecta, the Respecta is more than black people. Let me explain how this works in the system financially. I can explain it from the bank side. If you really want to know, I think you should understand why they do this. Just like I said, they claim it stops robberies at stores. What it does is it allows them to have access to your money and to have control over if or not you have money and if or not your money is spendable.
Absolutely. It's all about control.
Wherever you want to spend it. So if you live in St. Andrew and say you want to go and use money in St. Elizabeth, they can make it so your money is not good in St. Elizabeth. It's only good in St. Andrew if you're using the card. And they can also make it so that the cash money cannot be valued because they will make it so that the cash money, you have a surrender date. And if you don't surrender
but listen to this right now. Right now, there's some banks
with it.
Right now, there's some banks where you can't get but a certain amount of money at a time.
No, that's every bank. That's every bank. That's every bank. I've been through that. Spending.
Well, I guess the banks varies in the amount that you can get, you know. But I'm just saying, can you imagine they at this time and this age, they still control your money. Can you imagine if only thing they're using are bank cards and bank accounts? You have no control.
The reason for that,
and you know the reason for that, you have some control with your cash money.
Okay, but the reason they're doing that is to control all the wealth on the planet. If all the wealth on the planet is linked to one system, at that point, they have total control over the entire planet. Now, that's why the Respecter said what he said. And I agree that we need to have control over our own wealth. So I am also, even though I am in economics, I don't agree with a world cash system because I already see what the world cash system is doing. An example of that is the Chinese were in Kenya and they did such horrible work on the roads in Kenya that they didn't even get to finish the roads. The roads were just coming up. Every time it would rain, the road would literally wash away a brand new road. So they told them, you either got to fix this or you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do. When the Chinese told them, we already have your money and we're not going to do anything else, the reason the Chinese told them that was because they signed a deal with the World Bank to finance the project, having the Chinese do the project, and the debt was levied against Kenya, even though the money went directly to the Chinese government to do the work. That's the same way they built the highway in Jamaica. It's World Bank money. When they do that, what they do is they disable local contractors from having any control over it, which means that the local people who would be working on it are not going to be working on it because they're not going to use the local people. They're going to bring in
That's
their
what I
own
was going to
workers.
say. They import their people in because the labor cost is the labor cost is cheaper. Yeah, the labor cost is cheaper. They pay the Chinese less than they would have to pay the Jamaicans.
What happened in Jamaica was amazing because all the Chinese workers that they brought in immediately, listen to this so everybody can scream, because I finally was able to get confirmation. They all got a Chinese and Jamaican citizenship. So if they decide not to go back to China, they can stay in Jamaica forever and they don't pay tax.
So how did they get that citizenship so quick?
Because they had a long-term work visa, and Jamaica said, since you contributed, we'll just go ahead and give you a citizenship, which will make it easier for you to come through the border every time you want to come and go. And you can bring your family too. In other words, let's build the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
That's exactly what they did.
You know, one of the biggest reasons they're doing this, they can know your location at all times with that card.
Oh, you mean monitoring them?
All the cards you got, tell them that right now. Every card that you have, anytime you got a hologram on it, that hologram is contacting an RFID, and that RFID is contacting the satellite. So if they want to know where you are, all they got to do, just like he said, is ping your driver's license or your ID. Because if you have a state ID, if you have a federal ID, even if you have a passport, every one of them has an RFID chip in it. It was mandated and required by the year 2020. Now everybody has them. So if you go and get a new ID, your ID is expired and you're going to get a new one, it's going to have a star on it. If you pay the extra $50, that star acts like a passport for close allied domestic travel, like to Canada. I live in Michigan. We cross the border and go into Canada to grocery shop. Most people don't have the access to be able to go to another country like we do, which is one of the reasons why I moved to Michigan, was because if something happens, I can cross the border. I wanted to have that option because I could see that it was going to be necessary. Now, another thing that I understand about what this card is doing is this card is being linked directly to other things in your life.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. Like you won't even need a driver's license with this card. When I found it out, I was like, how they gonna do this? They gonna put everything on the card? And they said, yes, the card will be multifunctional.
Yeah, it's gonna monitor everything, everywhere you go, everything you do. They talk about chip. That's the chip right there. Hey.
Right. So imagine somebody steals your card. You can't do anything. You can't buy gas. You can't even get ID to get signed in at work. The school won't recognize you when you come in for class. Nothing. You can't do anything.
You remember, I don't know if you remember, Asid, a couple of months back, we had, I talked about what they're doing out there in Jamaica with the money, how they're changing it because they're saying to prevent theft. They're putting some kind of chip in there,
right.
Something.
They put in a small electronic fiber that is RFID.
Putting inside of it, right. So listen here, hey, it's a plan. It's a master plan, and it's just being executed.
Right. At any given point, they can push a button, and somebody's not no more.
Hey, they have a plan, and it's just being executed. And let me tell you something. It's not just the Jamaican government. It's all of the countries. Remember, there is what? The bigger seas. Okay. They're controlling things, and they have that plan. Oh, 7 now. Okay. And they have that plan. Okay. And let me tell you something. You see, when they have these summit meetings and what have you, let me tell you, the average person don't know what is being discussed in those meetings. okay? Because we don't have access to it. But this the planning. That's where they go and they plan and they plot and decide what they're gonna do in the world order. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Uh-huh.
we're just living it, and we're being punished, and there's half of the time there's nothing we can do about it. At least, yeah, I mean, in terms of finances and family, we have no control. The
Okay,
crime
so
rate is ridiculous. The government is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Mr. Andrew Holiness, he's supposed to shift around the cabinet members. But look, it's not working. Look, one of them just took a leaf and went. I can't tell why he needed to take a leaf, right? But he took a leaf, right? And it's like, I don't know, the parliament is in disarray because all the people who have jobs, what's her name? Who is now in charge of half of them, the job that they have, the position, they don't like it. And they don't want to be in that position. So it's a lot of turmoil even going on in the party, in the Green Party, okay? It seemed like most of it going on in the orange, but the green too. Yeah. Sorry, what you were saying?
Would you agree that there's a possibility that the people, all that's going on, all these plans for the money on cards and so forth, has nothing to do with government? These are outsiders who control government are doing this.
Mhm.
The billionaires, they're the one pulling these strings. It's not really
Okay.
government. They're putting stress on government to do what they want them to do.
Yeah, that's what we
so
were
you talk
talking
about
about. Putting something
talk about the
behind
Club of
it.
Paris. You talking about the Club of Paris and all of these
Yeah.
people and these different financial cabal?
Yes.
Hmm. But you see, we don't say that it's a hookup. It's planned. So I mean, everything that is happening is something that is planned or was planned, and they're just executing them. I mean, look at look at look at the debt rate lately. You say, what is going on? I mean, it's not just in Jamaica, it's all over, it's everywhere, you know? And you say, what is going on? We understand that you have to eliminate, and that's why people get sick and what have you, to make the population less. But this is something is going on. What's going on? Um, my son's fiance, she said to me last night, she said, Mom, I said, what? She said, there's so many children missing. What's going on? She was reading something she was reading. And she said, there's so many children missing lately. What's going on? I mean, we back to the same discussion. Crazy.
There are rich people in this world who have loved ones who are on dying beds, and they have this belief that if they drink bloods of young people, it will help them live longer and all those foolishness. So thousands and thousands of kids are being captured, or not captured, but kidnapped every day throughout this world. And it's not about black, it's all races being kidnapped and being used by these old folks that don't want to leave this world.
Okay, the
And,
respecter. I got to
sad.
caution you because Lady D likes to use the word alleged, and I don't go against her policy, so you have to say
Alleged.
allegedly.
Alleged.
Okay, but I want to also break onto that and say we got to get back on the topic.
Yeah.
When we started talking about corruption in Jamaica, and we were talking about while the stuff was happening and this flow of money and how that all has affected Jamaica, we all have our own feelings about it. But I think some of the feelings that we haven't really listened to for a while are people who are caught in the middle, just like the respecter said. And some of those people, I didn't pay much attention to Andre and Queen IFRICA in the past month because I've had a lot of other stuff going on. but I
Yeah.
actually watched Andre and Queen IFRICA literally go at it. There were so many subjects that they talked about, but since we're on the topic of Jamaica, when the United Nations came and went to the Maroon camp in January and in February, they had invited Andre to come. And Andre has gone because the newspapers do not cover news in Maroontown or Charlestown because they don't want to go against the policy of the government and run afoul of, they just don't want to get cut off from the nipple. We're not getting into that discussion tonight, but we can say that the very fact that we have seen the United Nations come into Jamaica to recognize Maroontown as a separate country within Jamaica, and the Prime Minister of Jamaica is still saying that it is not, that it's Jamaica, and that he doesn't recognize the treaty. Okay, I got a lot of problems with that. I got a lot of problems with the fact that the government is not holding true to the treaty that they signed all these years ago, hundreds of years ago, in fact, before Jamaica even received its so-called freedom from slavery. This had been signed. So Andrew Holness in himself is wrong because he knows history, and he would know this history because it's taught to every Jamaican child. I didn't go to school in Jamaica, but I know the history because I had to learn it.
But you see the thing, Asid, the thing is that it's not just one or two or three section of Jamaica has maroon, right? And what's happening, what it seemed like been happening is that all the maroons, they're not together. I mean, you have curry, but that's on one section there. Then you have, I mean, right, there's like about, so many different ones, and they're not coming together and they're not working together, right? And I think that's the problem we have as Black people. We don't work together, even though we know that this is right or this is what we should do. But we always do the opposite. When it seems like there's so much grudge and hate and grudgefulness, I'm sorry to hear you, right, jealousy, all of that. And because of that, there's always conflict in terms of people getting together and coming together as one. And that's where Black people, we're lacking in, you know?
Okay. Father, I know my father and fathers are Maroons. And what I learned is that they all think that they are the leaders. So whoever is the actual appointed leaders, they're constantly getting fight by others who feel they should be the leaders. And it's kind of sad because if they look at the natives here in America, how they handle their sectors that was given to them, they keep their thing going smooth. They find ways to keep money coming in, right? The Maroons are not doing all that they can do because they're too busy watching each other and trying to beat each other.
Okay, Darespecta, do you know about what's going on with the Chinese and the government and the Maroons now, which is why the United Nations was there?
Well, the Chinese are trying to manipulate the system of Jamaica. They want to be every sector of Jamaica.
No, that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about.
Control.
It's about the resources that are there that the Chinese want to tap into and buy, and that the government of Jamaica is supporting the Chinese in doing by invalidating the Maroon Treaty, which is why the
Yeah.
United Nations came to say to Jamaica's leaders, you cannot invalidate this treaty because these people are a nation. And if they
No,
do, that is grounds for Chief Curry to call to go to the United Nations and speak about what's happening. And you know what? He needs to. I feel he needs to. Don't let the Chinese start drilling and digging.
It is not the government. It's Holness and the Chinese leaders who are trying to agree upon capturing and doing whatever they want to do in those areas. It's not the government of Jamaica. Trust me, I guarantee you. They don't know what.
Okay, tell me who is the government of Jamaica then, please.
Well, that's what I was just going to say.
Holness is the government, really.
So why do you say it's not the government if that's not who it is? Because before Holness, this was never a discussion, let alone a problem, sir.
Listen, Holness he's the one. He's the scapegoat of everything. He's also initiating things.
He's the government.
But the others are the accomplice, and he has his accomplice.
Well,
Hey,
he lost
the respecter. Let's get this straight. Let's get this clear, okay? I want you to be on the same page with us. Who runs Jamaica?
It's supposed to be Holness.
Okay, wait.
But he lost that.
Okay, wait now. You said it's supposed to be Holness.
So is
Holness not the head? Is Holness not the head of the government?
He's supposed to be.
And is he not the head of the ruling party?
He's supposed to be, but because he allowed
and is he not the person who deals directly with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, who signed the document less than a year ago to get more money for Jamaica from the IMF? Was it him?
I am saying it is, but he lost that because he allowed the Chinese to come in and build bridges and buildings, and America and everybody trying to build prisons in Jamaica and do all these things in Jamaica that Jamaica don't need. So you don't have that power. He just was collecting pocket money. And the people suffering.
Okay. The respecter. Can I respectfully say to you
Allegedly.
that Jamaica does need correctional facilities. It needs humane
not
correctional facilities. Excuse me. Let me finish. It needs humane correctional facilities because places like GP and Prison Oval are not livable. No one should be in there, let alone a cattle. Nothing should be in there. They should bulldoze it at this moment, and everyone in there should be free just because they were in there. Have you ever seen it? Because I'm going to tell you something. I have done some video tours of some places that you're not supposed to see, and I get to see some things that people show me because I pay them to show it to me. And I have been inside a prison in Jamaica, and I want you to understand that the only reason I support them building these two prisons in Jamaica is because I would rather see, if you're going to be locked up for the rest of your life, even if you're a so-called kingpin, at least let your family be able to come and see you or bring you food or interact with you. Okay? And the second thing is, the second prison that I definitely support is this prison for special prisoners. I don't know if you know what a special prisoner is, but a special prisoner is a person that is in danger in a general population, like a gay person or a person who has snitched or a pedophile. They are really in danger. Their lives are almost over immediately if they get sent to prison. And they build in this small prison to keep them separate, even though they need to go to jail, because the rise in pedophilia over the past 10 years, and I looked at this the other night because someone asked me about it because I said I couldn't understand it. They said 1,200% increase in pedophilia in Jamaica. And I asked the person who we had this conversation, why would it be that way? And they said, because Jamaica has no child trafficking laws. Now, Darespecta, you talked about that, about these kids being missing and about these people being missing. I've talked about it. Queen has talked about it. Lady D has talked about it. But you know what we have never agreed on? Where are those bodies? Where are those kids? And who is doing something about it? That's that's where I think we should be spending our time really focusing on, because the problem is there. We recognize the problem. Let's talk about making some pressure happen so that we can do something about it.
That was
the Chinese are collecting bodies in Jamaica.
That was under control under Manley and Tiaga, and I believe it was under control with Portia as well. The kids started becoming.
What was under control?
The kids being missing and all the young people situations were going on. Kidnapping.
You saying violence was less under them? I don't know about that, but I don't know. I'll say that the export of all these types of sex crimes and stuff happened after Jamaica adopted a television society. Once satellite dishes start going up on the island and cell phones start ringing out, we saw a 500% increase in the murder rate within months. I've looked at some figures that just make me want to cry, because some of them are actually related to things that have happened to people I know and people in my family. And one thing I have to tell you is that I, as a Black woman, always am very careful when I'm in Jamaica. I feel just like I'm in Detroit. I know I got to keep my head on swivel, and I know I got to be with other people because it's just not safe. And you got to know who you with and where you going, because regardless, the police, the JCS are
you just
it
have
is alleged,
to.
It is alleged they are paid.
You just have to be careful.
What do you think about that, Queen? Do you think that was a good way to put it?
Mama Asid, let me tell you something. Everywhere is war. Everywhere there's war. You hear what my man said? War in the east, war in the west, war everywhere. So it's not just Jamaica that is killing is going on. It's not just right here in Atlanta, right here in DeKalb County. It seems like every day somebody gets shot up here. And this was in the suburb. I mean,
but what do you think? Do you not look at it in another sense, in like it's to the world? But in a country like America, Jamaica, mixed countries, and we are seeing it on the news, on the radio, we're hearing it. All the killings, the gun killings, all that's going on is Black on Black. White is killing Black, not a racist, and then Black is killing Black, and white is killing Black, and nobody's killing white.
No, not according to the crime statistics. Not according to the crime statistics. And you know what? We could talk about that next week. We can put that on the table for next week. The crime statistics by race, we could put that on the table. I like that. How about that, Respecter?
Sounds good.
Why don't you bring some stuff on it, and I'll bring some stuff, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so can we move on to the next thing that is really kind of interesting that I want to hear? Queen is going to tell us about Women on Fire.
Oh wow! That was deep. I watched. It's a film, and it's a real story, and the film is called Women on Fire. Now we're gonna discuss this, and we're gonna figure out who are these people. Okay, they what happened is they had a conference, and within the conference they had workshops, and these workshops were gearing these women up to go out into the community and to get other women involved in what's going on within that community. So it was a big thing, and they talked about not 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 agreeing to well, really, it's a petition they put out, and they said it's gender-based violence. They want to stop gender-based violence. They want gender equality. They want gender balance, and how we perceive people in rural communities, and how we can let them join the conversation. And they sound real spirited, like they're ready to fight, because they were talking real rough. And yeah, so, and these were not just young ladies. It was a mixed group. It was both young and old. What do you think about that? Do you think that they will make an effect in what's going on in Jamaica in terms of the communities and even the election? Because they said they haven't had, this was one of the topics they were talking about, where not having any elections in some of these districts and parishes or what have you. So there are some of them that are lacking, that don't have any leadership. So all of this is coming into play. But the main thing started because of the man that was killed by his wife. I don't know. I think she had cut his throat or what have you. And excuse me, I'm being graphic. Oh, I'm being graphic. I'm sorry.
When was this?
About 2 weeks ago or so. And it was also they were also bringing up Donna Lee and all the other women that was missing due to violence. Due to violence, yeah. But it was really good. But that movie is something that y'all should look at, because I saw it and it was real powerful. That woman's story.
It wouldn't be a bad idea if they can do it in a way that they're gonna raise young girls up in a sensible way, not to be too boyfriend minded and not to be too sex minded, and point them in a different direction where education and business is concerned.
Well, I think that was some of the plans that they had, from what they were saying. And even I kind of eased in on one of the workshop, they kind of showed it, because it was on the this program. And one of the workshop, they kind of showed you where they were talking, and what she was talking about. She was talking about empowering the young girls. So it seemed like a powerful group, and like I said, they're new. So let's see what happens.
I'm gonna create one.
Huh?
You should.
I'm gonna do a version of that one.
But then tell you, and then tell you what, they're linked with the Chinese Benevolent Association.
Okay. What do you think about the name, the title?
Chinese.
Now say, what do you think about the title? Man Above Water.
Man Above Water.
Man Above Water.
Okay. Okay. So that's gonna be your book.
That's positive, nothing negative.
Oh, so you're gonna write a book? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just gonna walk to every parish and just recruit some people and what businessman and successful man, and bring the young boys along, train them, teach them, educate them.
That's an excellent thing.
So
I really
like a big brother, big sister, sister.
Right.
Don't say that, because they were molesting kids.
Big brother, big
something more
more
family like, right?
Yeah. Right. I hope it works out for everyone involved,
Well,
curiosity about this, though, Queen. I want to know, why would the Chinese
That's
support a
it.
group which is so-called God-based when the Chinese are communists and they don't believe in religion. That's why they so-called
They-
persecute Chinese Christians. They allegedly persecute them, lock them up, and don't allow them to practice any of that religion in China because they said that is what causes all these societal problems. And they believe that the Communist Party is just built about making people's lives livable.
Then look, the thing is that the Chinese are sponsoring this organization or whatever, or this workshop, right? But yet still, it was all black folks conducting the workshop. I saw one woman that she looked at half like Chinese or white or kind of white, black, whatever she looked like. She was between right there. But everybody else was dark skinned. They were typical Jamaican, you know,
But what I'm
not
saying
of
is,
Chinese, not of
what
Chinese
I'm
descendants, you know.
okay, but what I'm saying is they are infiltrating Jamaica the same way the morons did. You would see them on them bikes riding everywhere, and nobody ever questioned why did they come to Jamaica and why were they there. Of course, we know they were there because they are part of the plot to force black people to not be black people. But this is like this is like totally something else, and I don't think it's all about religion. I really don't.
Mm. That's
I
something
think
to
it's
think
about acceptance of the Chinese.
about. Okay. Well, you know, you see, the thing is, a lot of people don't. We don't really know the power that these Chinese people have. We don't really know. Because remember, we live off of hearsay, you know, what we hear, you know, influencers and
But
whatever,
you know,
okay?
but the
And they
government,
influence us, and most people believe. Sometimes some of us, our eyes are open and our ears are open, so we know what's going on. But the ordinary folks, they don't, so they go along with whatever is dished out to them. You
yeah, let's
know,
say it
I
again.
mean,
The Chinese come to Jamaica and they get free reign. Jamaican
yeah.
Africans try to go to China, and they can't set up nothing in China. There's
They
nothing
also
No,
they can
just
but
set
can't
up
get
in
a.
they,
They
China by.
also just can't get a visa to stay there, and they also cannot stay as long as they want, and you
Exactly.
yeah,
cannot work.
they have rules. Yes, I was just gonna say that. You have to have X amount of money in your account. I was watching that one day. What you need, the itinerary, things that you need to live in China or, you know, migrate to China. And I'm telling you the stipulations that they have there. But yet still, they're everywhere. They're taking over America. You know, America, you go to New York, most of those buildings, they're Chinese owned. Most of, most of those storefronts, they're Chinese owned.
Okay, Queenie,
Okay?
you went to the next subject. You went right there. Okay, immigration. So
All
this
right.
Florida
Okay.
immigration thing, and Governor DeSantis
Mhm.
signed this bill saying Chinese people can no longer buy any Floridian property. So, Queen,
Okay.
what is that all about?
All right. Well, you know what? Let me tell you what they're saying here now. Um, the immigration is saying that in Florida, if you are an employer with more than 25 employees, then your employees will have to go through the e-check. And what that e-check is, it is to prove your identity. So whenever
Yep.
you folks have an SSI, hey, they know everything about you. And it's being
Okay.
enforced. So what's happening? Most of these folks, they're illegal, you know, so they're migrating to other states. That's what's going on right now over there.
Disrespectful. Let's hear what he has to say, because he's been kind of quiet on this whole immigration thing for a while. So, Respecter, the Respecter.
I'm here.
What about this immigration thing? What's your real feelings on this, especially with the E-Verify system being used? Because I thought they were using it before and that there was a penalty for not using it.
Well,
I think it's designed to keep the Haitians mainly
That's
from
what I
coming in.
thought.
You know, it's not designed for no one besides Guatemalans and Haitian dark-skinned people.
but you know what I can't understand? How they're gonna come up with this and they let so many of them in? How they're gonna track this? How they gonna do this?
They got control of the government. That's the point. We keep talking about this whole issue of who has control of the government. Okay, DeSantis family. Look, DeSantis grandparents were illegal immigrants in America for more than 20 years before they got U.S. citizenship. DeSantis is an anchor baby. Okay? So when we really look at the hatefulness of the policies that are driving all of this new anti-immigrant, anti-humanity stuff that's going on, I mean, okay. I'm gonna go
But
out
you
on a
see,
limb.
let me tell you what. But immigration is doing a whole lot of bad deeds, okay? Because right now I was watching a program last night where they were talking about these teachers that applied for visa to come to America, and the guy was telling you that he know of at least 12 of them, and this is a public figure individual, and he was saying at least 12 of them he knows personally was denied that visa. Then he's going to back it up and say, well, the Philippines, they turned some of them down too, but then most of them were turned down in Jamaica, so they're saying, you see how all of these agencies and all of these people and these governments, how corrupt they are and how interlocked they are and how wicked they are because of what's going on with the teachers migrating, leaving Jamaica. They're trying to put a stop to it. So evidently they had to make some deal with America for America to agree to turn these people away, even though they have valid identification and valid whatever, to get a visa.
Possibilities also, it could be a because if you're a Democrat, if you live in Florida, you're a Democrat, and it could be a fear factor where all who's voting Democrat or families who are voting Democrat, let's punish them. So when election time comes, more Republicans available than Democrats. So let's get rid of as much of those Democrats as possible.
Well, I don't know if the split down the middle is so defined right now in Florida, because DeSantis is still making enemies, and I mean every day. People are starting to fall off the Republican bandwagon because of a lot of his stunting. And just the very fact that his wife collected multiple millions of dollars in the 30 million, it is alleged in the $30 million range, that it's supposed to be for relief used for people who got hit by the hurricane. And there's no accounting of where that money went or how they spent it. That
Okay, what about
the
$8 million project that she's doing right now? She's in court because of that. You talking about Juliet, right? Mhm. Is that
Well, actually, I was
is that
talking
who
about
you?
Casey DeSantis in Florida.
Oh, I thought you was talking about Juliet in Jamaica because I was gonna tell you that she's corrupt too. Go ahead. Go on.
Well, Casey DeSantis got all this money from
Mm-hmm.
people who gave it to a fund that is supposed to help people who were hurt by the hurricane get
Okay.
help, even if they didn't get any money from the Hurricane FEMA fund. When DeSantis started raising this money, Casey DeSantis, his wife, when she started raising this money, it immediately meant that she had access to all of his contributors. So he gave her his contributor list, which meant that all she had to do was create a robocall, and then people press one button on the phone, and it would allow them to be able to make a contribution without even talking to a live person. And she collected multiple $1 million doing this. But nobody's asked her to account for any of the funds. Is this right?
It's not. It's not. I mean, but no one is being held accountable, and it's the same thing again. Still back in Jamaica again. That's what with all of these politicians there, they're not being held accountable. You see what I'm saying to you? We need to start holding these folks accountable, you know, because these people feel that they can do whatever they want to do and get away with it because no one is really strong enough to stand up to them. And the black folks, they're always bickering with each other, so they can't come together to overthrow that system. But it's there and it's crazy, but it is what it is.
Okay, so do you think that people in Florida are finally going to get to the point where they're going to get fed up with DeSantis and his whole grifting because
Uh,
he's busy importing more immigrants from other places?
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know, sis. We just got to watch it play out because every day it changes, you know. Because at one point he was making space for them. I think I heard he opened up like some building and what have you to house them, and then all of a sudden he started to ship them out. I don't know
Oh
what's
no,
going
it was
on.
a prison.
It's,
It was a formerly
oh,
closed.
oh, it was
In fact,
okay,
it was a
okay.
prison. He wanted to put them in a closed prison.
And next thing you know, he's trying to send them to different states. I mean, oh, girl, I don't know. I'm telling you, these folks, it's like I think so. I'm telling you, really and truly, what's her name used to talk, my girl. um, when you think about it, it's like a shift. I'm really serious. It's like a shift. It's like a shift in the atmosphere. It's like a shift. It's like the world shifts. And when it shifts, everything got off balance. Right? So it's like things that shouldn't be is and things that are it shouldn't be. We can only do the best we can, you know.
That makes
But
sense.
people have to be aware of what's going on out there, and that's the
That
only
makes
way we
sense.
might get some changes. Yeah, that's the only way we
You know
might
what
get
that
some.
reminds me of?
What's that?
A couple of years ago in Cobb County, when the white
Uh-huh.
police pulled over the white lady, and he went to the passenger window, and she says to him, "You're not going to shoot me, are you?" And he said, "No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. We only told to shoot black people."
Oh yeah, we all
And that was,
remember that video.
yeah. But there's a possibility black people are trained to treat black people badly and not white people.
Yeah, because
That's real
that's how in
interesting.
slavery. It could be, in slavery days. Remember, they used to treat each other badly to please the master and to get certain ranks. So sometimes these things pass down in generations. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
But
but
they
right
need
now,
attention.
what we're seeing now is being applied across the board with different
Mm-hmm.
groups of people, okay? Because they started attacking the LGBT people, and there's a lot of them in Florida. So they are moving out of Florida after having been in Florida for 20 years. You see people saying on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter every day, bye bye, Florida, because they just can't
Yeah.
take it anymore. Then there was the news that came out that DeSantis hires the worst cops possible for the state police because they want to make sure that they the much do the job in the most what they consider to be the most easy state to police in the most difficult way possible because almost everybody in Florida on the road is a visitor. Two out of
Mm.
three cars in Florida are visitors or rental cars. So you see,
Right.
DeSantis is really messing with his money, but what he's doing is, it seems to me,
Mm.
okay, the respecter, I want to ask you this. Does it seem to you that DeSantis is making a difference in who comes into Florida to be there long term because he doesn't want to be around certain groups of people, even though he's forgotten that the people he doesn't want to be around are the ones who do all the work in the agriculture and the hospitality industry? The respecter?
Hello.
Okay, did you
I'm sorry.
you're not going to answer the question?
I'm sorry. Repeat that question.
Okay, your question was, do you think since DeSantis is running all these different groups of people out of Florida who he doesn't like, and I mentioned quite a few groups like the different types of minorities, the people that have been there for a long time who don't want to deal with this, the black people, the gay people, old people, since he is doing this and people are
Yeah.
tired of it, do you think
Yeah.
he is intentionally trying to change Florida and that he possibly has forgotten the fact that the people he's trying to run out of Florida are the people who do all the work in the agriculture industry and in the hospitality industry, which are the two largest industries in Florida?
Well, I do believe it's a trick to everything, and he's the one been appointed to do it. There's some dictators who telling him what to do because they're trying to make room for light-skinned Ukrainian to come and take place in Florida. Give Florida a different look. So the respecter feels strongly that what they're doing is a plan to get those people out and replace them with people that looks like them and going to vote for them. Because if you get all these people on your side in Florida, you're going to win the election every time. So let's turn Florida into a Republican state fully. Now, you know what? They're saying it and they're trying to hide it. There's hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians that's already in America and Russians. And you see all these apartments and homes that's going on in Atlanta right now. And everybody's calling everybody to buy their home. People are trying to buy black people out of their home. Why? So life can get rough on black folks.
But I don't know how they're going to do that because the thing is that Florida is mostly comprised of retiree, old folks.
Oh, no.
Nope, not anymore. Not anymore.
No, what I'm saying is mostly that's what Florida was known as. So what I'm trying to say is they need these people in these low positions. And like this guy was saying, he said, we're not taking anybody's job. We have the jobs that nobody else wants.
Remember now, old folks are still the most racist people in this world.
Hmm.
America. Let's say America. It's not the middle-aged folks. It's the older folks. Majority Republicans. It's been proven. Look at the Trump rallies. It's mostly old people.
Yep.
Yeah, coming and mostly coming from Florida and the Rockies and that's where they Colorado. That's where they were coming from.
I had a Cuban friend in Florida, like on the light skin side, and I asked him about Cuba, black Cuban. He said, "Yeah, Blake, there's a lot of blacks in Cuba, but they're not allowed to leave. Who wants to, afraid to, and that's just how it is." He said, "The ones who try to come, when they get into the ocean, they're picked out and thrown back in the water. You got to find your way back to land." That was told to me.
Wet foot, dry foot. That's America's policy. Wet foot, dry foot.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Well, I
ridiculous what goes
recently,
on.
okay, so recently I saw where they wanted to deport the Haitians to Rwanda. So if you're Haitian and you come to the southern border in Texas, they wanted to offer you a chance to be deported immediately to live in Rwanda because you speak French and you're black.
So why not Brazil?
Well, no, it's Rwanda. Rwanda said they would accept them because they are accepting refugees from all over the world. Okay? That's what Rwanda says. Now, I took a little time this week and looked at some videos of some women talking, and we'll get back to Queen IFRICA talking with Lady Saw towards the end, but they brought me right back to where it all started because the first group of videos were some people I never expected to say some of the stuff I heard them say, and they were interviewing some people in Kigali, Rwanda. Now, we all remember the Rwandan genocide.
Yes.
Since then, they've moved on, thank God. You know, Paul Kagame runs the country with a tight fist, and they are accepting refugees from Europe, specifically from people that try to get across the channel from France to England. So if you make it almost as far as England, they will deport you to Rwanda or back to your home country, whichever you prefer, but you're not getting in. So when I found this out, I started looking into it, thinking to myself, this is absolutely nonsense. There's more behind this than meets the eye. So there was a guy who's doing interviews because lately I've been watching a lot of people interviewing people in Africa talking about their experiences, Black people. And I had just finished watching these people talking about their experience in Ghana and some other people talking about their experience in Tanzania. And there was some people before them that were talking about just the whole of East Africa. That's what they were talking about. So when they got to Rwanda and they were saying, oh, it's so beautiful, we're up in the mountains. And I remembered that silverback gorillas they were really popular. That's why people used to go to Rwanda to go and see these gorillas up on the mountain. So all of these people made a industry around tourism, and about half of their visitors would come from Europe every year. People would come to take pictures of the gorillas, the mountain gorillas, and they had little hostels that popped up, and people would make money on, local crafts and people coming in. So after the genocide, they didn't have much tourism for a while. And then they started rebuilding. And they've done a little bit. They haven't done a whole lot, but they've done enough to be able to keep people employed and to keep the economy somewhat stable. Well, they were talking to different women, and there were some women who said, nope, they would never come to the United States. Nope, they really didn't see that it would be any better than being in Kigali because they said they could get killed anywhere, which I thought was interesting. And then they talked about how they had never experienced the type of racism that they've seen on YouTube, which I thought was also interesting. And then one woman went on to say she hated Black Americans because she said Americans are stupid. The white ones are stupid. But Black Americans are stupid specifically because they want to be offensive, because they want to treat you like you are less than them. When in reality, their DNA comes from us. I just stopped for a second and said to myself, they would not let her in America. She would never get a visa. So they asked her, would you ever leave and come to America? And she said, not for anything. She said, Black Americans are some of the most, she said, unfriendly people I've ever met. They think they're better than everybody and they just don't know anything. And she said, the men, all they want to do is think that you want to marry them so you can get a green card. And she said, that's not going to work because I'm already working on becoming a doctor, so I'm not trying to take care of another man. I thought to myself, this woman is very empowered. So there were other women who also talked about how they own their own businesses, how, the matrilineal society there actually guaranteed them a much better life because they didn't have to deal with so much violence and so much crime because it didn't exist. Now, I don't know if it doesn't exist, but that sure does sound like a perplexing situation, a nice place to live, but they wouldn't like me if I went there, even though I got the same DNA as them. What is this?
And maybe there's a possibility this was a small area, small group, people feel that way. Maybe on the wide.
I don't know.
Maybe just a few feel that way because we know for a fact that Jamaicans try to, in some cases, try to be like American women. American women try to be like Jamaican. So it's a mixture depending on the area you're in. Black women copy each other throughout this world. So it's not like, one is that much more intelligent and better than the next one. It just copycat going on.
But that, you see, years ago, it was very strong, the racism between Black American and Caribbean people. It was real strong. I remember when I came, it was terrible. I mean, I had a fight. I mean, we fought for the freedom that these folks coming here now is getting, right? We had to fight for it. But now, more people, because of social media and the music, the reggae music, there are more Americans that are accepting of Caribbean and Jamaican people, but you still have the few that are still against Jamaicans because they say they come here and they pile up high in the apartment, and next thing you know, they own houses and they take our jobs and some of them still feel that way.
That's it. That's the same thing, the immigrant thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that mentality. Some have that mentality.
The respect of what did you say?
That was back in the 80s. There's no Jamaicans, man or woman, coming here no more and gang up in one bedroom or They're not doing it. It's too much selfishness going on. I mean, and
Yeah,
body
they're
order.
not doing what people think. But you see, if we talk about the mentality of people, you see, that's what we're
Yeah,
talking about. You still have people that think that way. I know of people who they feel that us, the Caribbean people, they come here and they take their jobs and that's how they think. But you
right,
can't get it out of them because they were programmed that way, you know?
right. Mm-hmm.
Is
There
So
that
was,
you still have
racism or
folks,
xenophobia? Is that
it,
racism?
I would say it's
phobia.
mhm. it, it,
When
it
you hit on dance or queens,
uh,
can we
Say it
touch on
again,
dance or
the
queens?
respecter.
Can
Dancehall
we touch
Queen,
on
the
dance or
movie,
queens?
the movie,
Dance or queens?
the movie.
No, the IFRICAs and the Tanya Stevens and the Mac Diamond and all of them gang up on each other and
Oh
unnecessarily
yeah.
warring.
We're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be probably the last thing because we want to talk about. We going to that because it's about that. So the next thing is about the sister in Jamaica who said that she has an Airbnb and she has no problem renting
mhm,
to anybody except black
mhm.
people from America. She says she does not rent to black Americans because they are rude, and she says she doesn't care who else it is. If you are black American, she instantly will not rent to you. What do y'all think about that? And she's in Jamaica.
Well,
Yeah, and you
the
can't
business
really tell a one what to do with their property or their place, but I don't think that's a good e- everybody's not the same, and even if you have had people in the past that was black and they dealt with you wrongly, it's not everybody that's the same. So,
Is
and
that
you
not
can find
racism?
the
Is that
same
not
thing.
intra-black,
Maybe them white
Queenie?
folks will do the same to you.
Queenie,
Yes, it's
is that not
racism.
is that not inter-black racism?
yes, yes,
Yes, it
Is
is.
that a
It
sickness?
is.
Is that a sickness?
yes.
Okay, the
As a
respecter, I want to
business,
ask you:
as a
is it
as a business,
intra-black racism, and is it a sickness? And what do you think about it?
yes, yes, both of them. And I just think as a businesswoman, she should have kept that to herself because there's a lot of Jamaicans, black Jamaicans, Africans who hear the story and say, "Well, I don't have no problem
Hmm.
with Black Americans," and don't come and support your business. So I wouldn't have put it out there like that. She's wrong.
Yeah, 'cause I
Well,
mean, mm.
okay, so by going there, now we're going to go into this rudeness of how lately we've seen this streak of women attacking other women, and some women even attacking men, and some of them were dance hall people, and some of them are social justice warriors. And it seems like we can look at this all over the globe, but I would like to focus on what's going on in Jamaica. And since we're talking about this, I would like to start with which end should we, let me just ask the question. Which end of this cow should we grab first? Because should we get the LGBT end or should we get the all Jamaica end? Which end of the cow should we grab first, y'all?
Let's leave the LBBBBGGT out flat.
How many of
No,
these
we
you
got to
gave
talk
it?
about it.
3 Ds?
Okay, so what do you think, Queen? Do that last?
Go ahead. We can leave it for last. Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen Queen IFRICA, Big Up
Mm-hmm.
Talented Sister,
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube and on a lot of different podcasts and on radio shows, talking about her moralistic viewpoint about her life and other people and her history with other people. Some of the things she talks about, she loves to talk about her experiences with other people in dancehall. And recently, though, she started talking about politics. So when she was talking about politics, She spent a bunch of time talking about corruption, about Andrew. She then went into this discussion about Chief Curry and the Maroons with Andre Stevens on his show probably last week. And the discussion was about One Jamaica. Now, I don't know if we've talked about One Jamaica yet. Have we talked about One Jamaica yet?
No.
Yeah, no. Well, we touched on it a little bit. We touched on it a little bit.
Okay, Queen, explain it.
Well, it's it's like the government. It's like one. It's just like you would say one world order. It's one group. Where everybody should be doing the same thing. It's like what them call them, like Hitler, and that's how they want the country to be run.
Jamaican fascism, like under Andrew.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And everybody's in one order, and that's what's going on. And everything that's going on in Jamaica is geared toward that. The changing of the currency, the changing of the constitution, all of that intertwined. The building of these high-rise buildings that they're building with apartments, and these condos that they're building that the average folks in Jamaica cannot afford. All of this, okay?
Who do you think is this is all geared to? Oh, okay, the respecter.
Yeah.
Who do you think this is all geared towards?
Poor people.
Poor people can't afford this stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Those who can't afford it, those who don't have a job, those who have a job and only making like $7,000, $70 $100 a week, it is ridiculous. Insulting.
That's why it's not geared towards them poor people. It's geared towards the rich, them people coming in from China and from Germany, and them are the ones that are going to occupy it. Eh? Let me tell you what they're doing. They're moving the Jamaicans inland. And you see the coastal areas, this alleged that's what they want to own, the coastal area. Why they're fighting for these, they're pushing them out, and that's why they're fighting for these properties, and bulldozing people's houses and what have you for those properties, because they're waterfront properties, they're money properties. Okay. Look at Juliet, $800 million what you call it project. Right now she in court because she run down the woman to the little piece where the woman has. So she has the woman in court.
She can't do nothing if she don't get that one corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this a sort of Don business?
Yes.
Well, that's what it seemed like, because they said she go rough up the people and butt up the people.
But
it's
she's
funny,
a member
but
of
it's not
Parliament.
funny. It's funny,
She's
but
a
it's
member
not
of Parliament.
Funny. She is, and that's violation. You don't do those things. Look, you're in the public eye. You're supposed to. There's certain things, etiquette, certain things, that you're supposed to do, and certain things you're not supposed to do. So, I mean, these people in politics now, I don't know. They're not like the old time folks in politics. These people, hurry come up. We call hurry come up.
I want to jump in and say this. The bickering that's going on. You notice the one who is the center of all the attraction, she's being the most clever, professional, decent, intelligent, and just laughing her butt off, because she addressed every situation intelligently, and she remained dancehall queen. Now, Queen IFRICA have done a lot of nice, things, done nice things. benefiting Jamaica. But lately, she said a few things where Lady Star isn't, against Lady Star and so forth.
No,
I know she said
not
some
yet.
things.
Not yet. We can't go into that yet. We're saving that for last.
We didn't say we were gonna say that.
We did. And
So she come under they come under that category. Acid. They come under that category. They come under that label.
There.
Oh,
She put herself there because this whole practice that they bring in up in the public, and it doesn't need to be that way. So let's talk about that last. Let's get back to this one Jamaica thing, because this is really important, and I want people to understand that this is about money and the wealth of Jamaica.
That's what it
Where
is.
is
That's
it going,
what it is.
and who is going to have control of it? Okay, we understand that Andrew already is sneaking it out by the bail. We understand that he's being sued by Usain Bolt because he's the second lawsuit. His company is the second lawsuit, along with that old lady who gave her money for SSL. She's the second lawsuit.
Yeah.
This is all falling under the problems with wealth in Jamaica. So if Andrew can't control organizations and companies that actually have responsibilities that they don't follow, how can he then be responsible for, let me just say it, Jamaica itself?
Well, the Prime Minister, I'm a liar. I'm sorry to say it, but he is a liar. Up to this evening, that's why it's on one of them things.
It's alleged.
Alleged. Okay, he's alleged a liar. He's a liar. But anyway, a lot of things he said is not so, because I've been watching these film clips, and I'm talking about, quote, his word, not somebody else's word. I'm talking about these film clips of what he said in the past, before, when he was running for the prime minister, okay? What he said then and what he's saying now, it doesn't add up. So I can say he is a liar. Okay? And the Jamaican people, they were misled. And they're paying for it now, because they're too licky and too quick.
Okay, the respecter, can you camp onto that and tell us what you think about this?
I remember when they renovate St. Thomas, beautified St. Thomas, and he gave the speech. I just thought the man was the best prime minister ever. The security that St. Thomas put in place, and basically everything he took credit for, but he was involving the people in his speech, and like educating them, young girls on bringing on boyfriend into St. Thomas, and gangsters, and mash up this place, and he was saying all the right things. So I don't know what happened to him after that.
That was a campaign speech, right?
Money starts flowing, and you might them start to sparkle when he see it, and he said, "Ooh, more. I need more sparkle."
Yeah.
Corruption, man. I'm telling you, it's money. It's money. It's money. Power. Money, power. All of that it roll up into one. And that's what he seek, and that's what he's doing. And he have his little proteges right behind him, backing him, because they're getting a share. They're getting a cut of that money, Look, let me tell you, our Vice President of the United States of America, Camilla, she gave them $20 million. It disappeared. What happened to it? Nobody knows, right? They got another, 30 million from the grant with the COVID. Hey, let me tell you something. They get how much $1 million to buy the tablet for the children. When you look at some little tiny beanie tablet they bought, and half of the children did not get that tablet. So they all missed out on work for that whole year. I mean, there's so much corruption, so much lies, so much deceit. I mean, and people seeing this and don't see it. You can't see it. It's right in front of you.
But what if there's a possibility that that money that they gave Jamaica was just hold it for me until I'm out of office. I can collect it.
They told him the same thing when they sent the money from the refinery in Venezuela. Hold it for me, and once we got our little situation sorted out, we'll shoot it right back to us.
Exactly.
It disappeared.
Corruption.
But you see, the thing is, it's not just the money, Remember, it also includes properties. You see what I'm saying? It also includes properties. It includes natural resources, natural minerals. I mean, right now that's why they want to go up in the cockpit, because they want to dig for whatever they want up there.
That's why IFRICA was saying what she said to Andre, because see, Andre said to her clearly, I was there because I was requested to be there by Curry and by the people from the United Nations. Where were you? She got upset. And okay, Darespecta, we going into your part now. She got upset and said, no, Andre, you were up there because you up there promoting your agenda, and that's the LGBT agenda, isn't it? That's what she said to him on his show. And when I saw that, okay, she's trying to bring out some nastiness from him so that she can unload on him about what she's done or about how she has lived her life in the past. And at that point, he looked at her and said, listen, I was invited by Chief Curry. I was invited by the people from the United Nations. Where were you? She said, I was busy and I wasn't attending to no LGBT business. And he said, well, that's not what Lady Sauce said. That's not what somebody else said. Anyway, he named off some people, but I went back and looked to see what Lady Sauce said, and I saw all of it. And then I looked at what she said about this girl, Marguerite Stevenson, that she said raped her when she was a little girl. Now, I've been trying to figure this out because people don't usually get accused of adolescent sexuality issues unless, of course, it was one of the other people that was involved. Because who else would know it? This is like crazy. So when Lady Saw came out and said that she was with this in England, no, she didn't say that. She said in Europe. Lady Saw said in her video when she was in Europe and she saw Queen IFRICA with this woman who was more masculine than she was feminine, and they had their hair braided up alike, and they were hanging out, and they were drinking, and they were partying, and whatever. She said they were definitely together. And she said she don't know what else they were together for, but the rumors have been out there for a long time. Now, I'm in the middle on that, because the first part of it that's a problem for me is, why are you talking about somebody else's sexuality? Is anybody questioning yours? What would be the point of you even talking about this woman's sexuality anyway, Lady Saw? Are you mad because when you went back to the dance hall, you flopped? When you tried to get up there and be Marion Hall, but people wanted to see Lady Saw? That's what she said to her, and that was her response, and I hate to say it. I thought it was apropos. Okay, Darespecta, you get first crack at this one.
Well, all the things that I've seen and heard, I give Lady Saw an A for being a woman and discussing the situation. She didn't come out and start to pick on nobody. They started to pick on her because they don't really want her back on stage and dance off, because they all are terrified of her, as bad and good as spices, they all are on edge because if Lady Saw comes back as Lady Saw, they can't hold her. And despite of what's going on, she started to say some things because she's just lashing back at some of the people that put her business out there. And it was necessary. Now the worst one I saw is last night I watched Macadam. Now all that she have done and said was not necessary because she's making it seem like Queen IFRICA and Lady Saw and like everybody's calling up her name. And half the world don't know nothing about Macadam. But her ways of discussing and expressing herself, it is so disrespectful. She told all of Tony Rebel's business. Tony Rebel have nothing to do with this.
Wait. Back up. You said who told Tony Rebel business?
Macadam.
Afri,
No, Macadam. It's another dance
John
song.
Macker, that's how she got in this. Yes, go ahead, please.
So she told Tony Rebel business, and Tony Rebel is not a man to be messed with. He's kind and loving and all that, but he's not a man to be messed with. You don't put a person who's not involved business out there like that. Talking about the man have 20 baby mothers and on and on and on.
kind of stuff.
You know, and the way she disrespect Queen IFRICA, and I think she touched Lady Star too. She's not in their class to begin with. So I don't know why she's trying to get some attention. By the way, she carries
They're
herself
trying to get attention. They're attention seeking.
You know, and none of them can stand up face to face, song by song for song against Lady Saw. Lady Saw is still more than relevant.
Let me tell you something. You see the thing, that's what's wrong with us black folks. I mean, there's always some type of bickering, some type of fight. You know, why can't you just be happy for each other and encourage each other and, you know, what have you? I'm disappointed with both of them. First of all, Lady Saw, because she's supposed to be Christian, and you have to sometimes turn the other cheek, and you know that. Then I'm also disappointed with Africa because I used to see her in another image. And even when they had the march downtown Kingston for the young lady that was abused in custody, in the state custody, state charge, she was voicing she came out and she was bigging up Andre, you know, and saying she appreciate what he's doing and he's doing good things. And she was out there and told him that he could call on her anytime and, you know, she'll help in any way she can. All of that she put out there. So it was kind of surprising to see how she was talking about him and even the things she was saying. But like I said, both of them need a spanking. Both, all of them need a spanking. There's so much more stuff in this world. Kids being kidnapped, children starving. I mean, there's so much more things going on in this world that are more important than this crazy bickering.
There's other people pushing the issue for that. It's not really those ladies starting it, you know.
Yeah, but look, you're supposed to, but you're involved too. Take yourself out of it. I take myself out of it.
They're the ones mainly pushing this. And the Christianity thing now, you gotta remember, entertainment. Entertainment. And a lot of people say it's the wrong way. God, the Bible said, all God said in the Bible is make a joyful noise. Now, music and in general has joyfulness to it. It makes you move. Now, just that some people want to get to a certain age, they're looking back on and looking down on reggae music and dancehall and what they call worldly music because they become of a certain age now. Not realizing that's when you're supposed to actually start live. When you reach 50, 60, you're supposed to start live. So you're supposed to reflect back to when you was 20. And you were a dumb, didn't know nothing. So now you have an opportunity to live the rest of your life, making up for those times that you miss out on this and miss out on
So
that.
you're out there being a fool, acting a
You
fool.
know,
Yeah.
but people not doing that. They are being a Christian. Oh, I can't dance. Being a Christian, you can't go listen to some music. Being a Christian, it's so foolish, and it's only black folks feel that way. You know. Quickly, I was sister when I first did a song called Judgment Day, and I was fresh from the studio. I took it to her, listened to it. I don't want to hear no reggae music. You need to listen to this song because you think you're going where you think you're going, and you could go down the opposite direction. But they hear the beat, and it's a turn off to some Jamaican. And God gave you the beat to move your body so you won't be cramp up and feel hurt and like you're old. So a lady star can go up on stage and do any song she wants to, I feel. It's between she and God.
Yeah.
And she's an entertainer. She can show them so she still have it. You know,
Well,
it's just,
everybody must know them works. Must know your works, know your order, and do what you know is right. Sometimes you have to stay away from the crowd.
Queen, Mama,
Yeah.
if I were to say a word by itself right now, it would be a no-no. But if I put another word on the end, it's okay. If I say peacat, it's okay. But P by itself is a bad word. If I say
P is a good word because they're green. I love them. They're kind of good if you eat them, especially with like mashed potatoes. And sometimes I like them.
Yeah.
I'm a big P fan.
I'm just saying how people are. If you say bumblebee, it's okay. But the first word by
Well, I
itself
like
is a
what you used to say. If you said P, me said Paul. You said P, me said Paul. You said P, you said P, you said Paul. Hey. It is what it is. What can we do? How can we we talk about this before? How can we get people more involved?
She's not
being
crying.
honest with yourself.
Why did she do that? Why did she do that?
So,
Lady saw.
did what?
Come out and attack IFRICA and say that she was gay. And then IFRICA, because she's still mad, she goes and accuses Andre of being in some kind of LGBT something. I don't know. She didn't make it quite clear, but that's what she said. Agenda. That was the word. LGBT agenda.
She's looking back because they lashed out at her and tell her business and make her look in ways she's not. So she just rally back. It's a punch.
All right. So this is their whole way of playing games with each other, that they feel anybody should hear it and understand that it's just bullshit.
Right. Get people talking. And like Put the Hype said, it's all about somebody trying to be relevant when they're not. Because they think when they come out and do these things, some promoter is going to put them on a show, or they're going to be on somebody's show, because they're not relevant, but they're trying to be relevant by going after Lady Star or going after Spice. And none of them is in Lady Star and Spice. Shoot, they cannot hold it like Lady Star and Spice. So all these people that's coming out in war, and they're trying to be on the level of Lady Star and Spice.
Okay,
and
so
Lady
what
Star
about...
and Spice left them.
Okay, but so you don't consider IFRICA, Queen IFRICA, you don't throw her up there with the same level of Spice?
No, because she does a different genre and she's a different style. She has some good songs, but as far as being on the stage with those ladies, she wouldn't hold up.
I don't know. I think
I think
think
they're
she got
all in
talent.
their own craft. In their own craft, they're good. Lady Saw
Queen
in
Africa,
dance hall. Now she
Queen
doing
Africa is not
gospel.
dancehall.
Mm?
Yeah, Queen Africa is not dancehall.
No, she do more
She's
poetic.
reggae.
Yeah. Hmm.
She's a foundation artist. So when you think about the fact that she's in this little fracas with Lady Saw, who is a dancehall artist, how does that even happen? Where do they even join up at?
Well, remember she's supposed to be doing spiritual gospel now.
Okay, but
Remember?
wait a minute, Queen.
Mm.
How do they even get in the same discussion if they don't have any connection?
They're
Respected,
looking
what do you think?
But they
they're
have
look-
connection because they're all in the music industry together.
Okay, wait a minute, Queen. Respecter.
no,
Mm.
I heard more than
Go
one
ahead.
people say this. Queen Africa have not been getting shows. And it's like she only have one show a year for the past couple of years. Don't know how true that is, but a lot of people been saying that. So they're saying that she came out and started doing all that she's doing to get the attention of producers and promoters to get back on shows. And
see
most of
something?
them started to come out of the woodwork because they're saying now, why is Lady Star being put on this show with Spice? And they feel like they should be the one and not Lady Star. And that's where all this cooking up started. Out of jealousy.
But I want to understand, why is Lady Saw still trying to get dancehall shows if she is a Christian artist?
That's what I can't understand either.
But
That's why some people saying that she fake, she not real.
well, what is a real Christian? What is a real Christian?
I don't know, but that's what some people are saying from their
I'm a
definition of what
Rastafarian and a Jew.
from
so
what
I
a
can't
real
tell you.
Christian's supposed to be. They're bashing the outfit she had on the other day, the share outfit there. I mean, there are things that they're saying she's doing that doesn't depict
It's between
the
you
idea,
and God. It's not between me and you.
Christian.
It's not between me and you. It's between me and God. So if you chose to be who you be, using your talent, your skill, it's between you and God. People too into people business too much, and it's mostly out of envy and jealousy.
Well, it's appearance, your appearance, and your influence on young
all right.
people and
What is
people.
different in the way she dressed, right? Compared to the same Christians who say these things when they go to the beach and they can't wait to go down in two-piece. I run and show them backside and people jumping up. People too critical in negative ways. It's the same thing when I put out this Dance for the Money video. I have to talk to people, explain to people. When I make fuss about female in a video dance in a two-piece, what's the difference with them dancing on a video to your music and you going to the beach in your two-piece? What's the difference? Man, I look for you, man, I look for you. What's the big deal? People just don't know how to accept other people living them life.
But
So people just don't have any more patience. People just can't take anymore.
And those people think them going with God there. And I'm going to be surprised that when they go with God there and God them say, me never tell you say you can't dance. Me never tell you say you can't sing reggae, dance all. Me never tell you say you
he
can't.
didn't say you can't dance. He didn't say you can't dance because he said dance, David, dance. I mean, but I mean, he never say you can't dance. And everything is what you do and how you do it. Even though he produced the wine, but yet still he tell you about the drunkard. I mean, like, I don't know. That's it. But like I said, these people should have more morals. Come on now. I mean, she was wrong to go out there and talk in people's business. If you have a problem deal with your issue and your problem, and don't take other people's business out there.
Okay, but why I don't get is she attacked Andre. Why did Queen Africa attack Andre and say that he was a part of or somehow connected to some LGBT agenda, which I never
Because
heard of Andre being connected to that or even seeing him
oh, and
connecting
he never
himself to that.
Who's
and he never
Andre though?
Andre
he's a
Stevens is a podcaster who used to be formerly was a politician in Jamaica. He's very popular on YouTube, and he's in actually one of the most popular YouTube bloggers out of Jamaica because he talks to people like politicians. He talks to people like Queen IFRICA who are performers, and he has his fingers on the pulse because he's an activist. He leads marches. He even, like I said, he went to go speak to Chief Curry up in Maroontown because he was requested by Chief Curry and by the United Nations to come and to give them some voice as to what the people of Jamaica would really want. Now, I hate to make a joke, but we got to wrap it up. But I'm going to wrap it up with this joke. I wonder why ain't nobody said nothing about L.A. Lewis.
Oh, did you see him on his yacht? Did you see him on his yacht? My boy was on his yacht. My boy said, hey, you see all these Ford that is abundant? I'm going to buy them. I'm rich. I'm rich. He said, when you don't see me, I'm on my yacht. I'm on my yacht chilling.
Okay, so
he was one of the
Darespecta.
most beautifulest woman.
All I
He
can,
was.
all I can say is be aware of the shop.
Okay,
not
so
talking
L.A.
about
Lewis
the shop
can't
in
get
the
no
water.
love from nobody.
I'm not talking about the shop in the water. The shop.
I know what you're saying. You see, that's why I threw him in last because I wanted to see if anybody had anything to say. When he came out in the police station and said that he was, did he say he was gay or did he say he was bisexual? He came out in the police station video and said the police have him, and now they have seen his papers, and they are going to release him because they realize that he's a Maroon, and because he's a Maroon chief, they have to release him because he has that guard ring and he has a crown because he's wearing this little bitty crown up on his head. Okay, the respect. Should we get you a little bitty crown?
Just a matter of time.
Said, I'm a businessman. He said, y'all forget I'm a businessman. That's what he said. That's what he said. He said on that show last night, okay? He said, I'm a businessman. You see him on his yacht on his chilling, sit back with a beautiful woman as companion. What? I have a mechanic there and say, oh, these are the best boat mechanic in Jamaica. Wow, them are fixing boats. What?
Well, I wonder how he got that boat. Even when he got stopped from going to go to the Queen's funeral.
You know, you hear me say him rich.
Yeah, he is.
Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time.
Oh, Lord Jesus. He is somebody that is one day going to
Did
be
you get
very
one of the
famous.
cards? Did you get one of the cards? You purchased one of the cards? You
I'll joke aside.
surprised
One of my prayer is for God to take all of them people they have and give to the poor. I make them feel what poor being poor is like.
Exactly.
But it must say you have one of the maroon cards, so that's why I'm asking y'all if y'all contributing to his wealth by purchasing the maroon card.
You can lose it.
It's a lot,
maroon blood. If you're not
time
born
go by
maroon,
so
you're not a
quickly, you
maroon.
guys. Time goes by so quickly. Can you imagine it's 10 o'clock already?
it's time to wrap it up. So we hope that you guys enjoyed tonight and that we've had a wonderful chat. I tell you, this freestyle is awfully fun. Listen, Lady D, we love you. We hope you listen. Me too. We really hope you listening, and we sending you our prayers.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay, so is there anything you'd like to say to Respecter to say goodnight to your listeners?
I just hope that listeners had as much fun as we did, and that we all can agree that God is going to stand up on this one and make Jamaica better than ever, and start dealing with the politician them throughout this world in a mighty way.
I agree with that. That is a true prayer. What about you, Queen?
Oh man, let me tell you something. It was awesome conversing with you guys. Every week it's a pleasure coming in and inform you guys of what's going on, so we can talk about it and discuss it, and even see what we can do about changing some of these. I know most folks will say, "Oh, I'm abroad. I'm not down there in Jamaica," but you can still make a difference. The media make it easy and accessible for us all to communicate with each other and to join in. So join in the talk, like this group said. They said that they are empowering women on fire for change. So they are looking for a change, and they are working towards a change. Okay? So I'll leave that with you. Y'all have a blessed night, and I enjoyed your company as usual. I love you, Sister Asid. Thanks again for us co-hosting. Thank you, Respecter, for co-hosting with us. And hopefully that I will be back next week.
Yeah,
Love you guys.
She'll be back.
Love you, Dan.
I just want to say thank you to Victory FM, and we want to definitely let everybody know that we're here every Thursday evening, usually by about 8:15 p.m. So if you tune in at 8 o'clock and you hear us talking, it's because we just got here early and we just couldn't wait to see what you wanted to hear from us. So thank you very much. We appreciate all of our families who listen in, all of the people who listen to us from around the world, and all of the people who support the people who help us to come to you. DAPowerhouseradio.com. Don't forget, on Saturday, absolutely. Yeah. On Saturday, please make sure you tune in at noon for Lady D's show. It is the premier show on this station, and we know that if you tune in at noon, you're going to get a great, great selection of not just music, but also commentary, news, and sports. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Peace.
Night.
Peace out. Night. Love.